The evening air was cool and gentle as the grand concert hall stood tall in the heart of the city. Its large glass doors reflected the last light of the day, and the golden glow from inside invited anyone passing by to look closer. The building itself had a calm but proud presence, as though it had witnessed countless performances and countless emotions over the years. Inside, the smell of polished wood mixed with a faint hint of old books from the hall's small library area, giving it a timeless charm that made everyone feel like they were stepping into a special world. A world-famous pianist had arrived for rehearsal, carrying the weight of years of training, experience, and public admiration. The piano waiting for him was enormous and black, its surface shining under the soft lights of the stage. Every key seemed to promise a story, a song, a moment that could touch hearts. The pianist had performed in countless places, but there was something about this hall that made him feel calm and excited at the same time. It wasn't the fame or the applause that mattered. It was the music itself. Around the hall, staff members were bustling quietly. Technicians adjusted microphones and lights, ensuring every corner of the stage would capture sound perfectly. Stagehands moved with precision, carrying chairs, music stands, and other equipment needed for the rehearsal. Some of them had worked in this hall for years and knew the routines by heart. Despite the busy atmosphere, there was a certain peace, a harmony between the preparations and the anticipation of music that was about to fill the space dot in one corner. Almost unnoticed by everyone, a cleaning lady finished tidying the seating area. She moved slowly but carefully, making sure every row of chairs was spotless. Her uniform was simple, and her hair tied back neatly, but there was a softness in her eyes that spoke of kindness and humility. She had worked in the hall for many years, and though she was rarely acknowledged in public, she knew every corner of it. She loved the way the hall felt during rehearsals, the quiet moments before the music began, and the lingering sounds after a song ended. She often imagined herself walking onto the stage, even though she never had the chance. While she worked, she listened. The sound of the piano filled the air as the pianist tried out a few notes and chords, preparing himself. Even though the music was soft and experimental at this stage, it had a magic that reached everyone in the room. The cleaning lady paused to listen, letting the melody linger in her ears. She had once studied music long ago, back when life had seemed simpler and dreams felt reachable. But circumstances had taken her away from that path, and she had put her hands to work cleaning and caring for others instead. The music, however, had never left her heart. The pianist played a short piece, testing the acoustics and adjusting the pedals. The sound was rich, warm, and slightly trembling, as if the piano itself was aware of the hands upon it. Staff members watched from a distance, recognizing the pianist's talent, but focusing on their tasks. Yet, in a small corner, the cleaning lady could not help but feel a connection to the instrument. She remembered the first time she had touched a piano as a child, the thrill of creating sound from silence. Even though she had left that life behind, every note reminded her of a dream that never truly faded. The rehearsal was supposed to be simple, but there was a quiet charm in it. The pianist sometimes spoke to himself softly, correcting a note or adjusting a rhythm, unaware of how much his passion radiated. The lights above him cast gentle shadows, and the hall seemed to breathe with the music. In the background, the cleaning lady moved between rows, pausing occasionally to straighten a seat or wipe the floor. She felt almost like a silent witness to something sacred, watching as the room prepared for a story that had not yet been told. Time passed slowly in a way that felt both long and fleeting. The pianist took a short break, stepping off the stage to sip some water. He looked around, noticing the hall in its quiet state, appreciating the calm between sounds. That's when his eyes fell upon the cleaning lady, standing modestly near the far end of the hall. She was not trying to attract attention, only doing her job, yet something in her posture caught his curiosity. Her gaze lingered on the piano as if it held a piece of her soul, and for a moment the busy world outside did not exist. He smiled lightly and walked toward her, carrying an air of casual friendliness. "Do you play?" he asked, his voice gentle, almost playful. The question was half a joke, for he had never expected a cleaning lady to answer seriously. The people around him laughed softly, thinking it was a moment of humor. A small break from the intensity of preparation got. The cleaning lady looked up, surprised. She had not expected anyone to notice her in that way. She hesitated, unsure if she should answer. Her hands were still holding the cleaning cloth, and she felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. A small smile appeared on her face as she whispered, "A little long ago." The pianist's eyes lit up with genuine interest. "Long ago?" he repeated. "Maybe it's time to try again." Again, his tone carried a playful challenge, but there was sincerity behind it. The staff around them quieted, sensing something unusual in the air. No one moved closer. They wanted to see what would happen next without disturbing the moment. The cleaning lady took a deep breath. Her heart beat faster than it had in years. Memories flooded her mind. Evenings spent practicing, the thrill of hitting the right chord, the pride of creating something beautiful. Life had pulled her in another direction, but here, in this quiet hall, the music seemed to call her back. Slowly, she wiped her hands on her apron, feeling both humility and courage. She approached the piano bench, her steps careful, almost reverent. The pianist stepped aside, giving her the space she needed. There was no pressure, only encouragement in his gaze. The hall was silent, except for the faint hum of air conditioning and the distant sound of cars outside. Yet in that quiet, it felt as if the world had narrowed down to the two of them, and the piano that awaited her touched dot as she sat down. Her fingers hovered over the keys. They were steady, though her mind raced with excitement and doubt. She had not played in years, and yet the instinct returned as if it had been waiting patiently. She remembered the lessons, the hours of practice, and the emotion behind every note. Slowly she pressed a key, then another, and a soft, pure tone filled the hall. It was not loud or showy, but it carried warmth, a sound that spoke of someone reconnecting with a lost part of themselves. The pianist watched, amazed at the careful but confident movements of her hands. The staff who were tidying up paused, captivated by the unexpected scene. Something rare and magical was happening a moment that was not planned, yet more beautiful than any rehearsal or performance schedule could predict. She closed her eyes, letting the music guide her. The notes flowed, hesitant at first, and gaining strength and emotion. She was no longer a cleaning lady in that moment. She was a musician reconnecting with her passion, expressing stories that had been locked in her heart for years. The hall seemed to embrace her, every echo of the piano resonating with the walls and ceilings, creating a harmony that was both fragile and powerful. The pianist could feel the emotions behind each chord. There was joy, sadness, longing, and hope woven together in a melody that seemed too mature for someone who had not played publicly in years. His own hands itched to join, but he knew this was her moment. The audience of staff and workers could only watch, spellbound by the unexpected beauty emerging from someone they had always seen in a different role. Minutes passed, though it felt like an eternity. Each note carried more confidence, more life, and more truth. The cleaning lady's posture straightened slightly, her back no longer bent under the weight of routine work. She smiled faintly, eyes closed, immersed in the music that was rediscovering her soul. The hall, usually a place of structure and formality, became a space of liberation, where passion overrode expectation. The piano's voice filled corners that had never heard it played with such heartfelt emotion. The air itself seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting to see what would happen next. For the pianist, it was a rare and humbling experience. Here was someone who had faced life's challenges, who had stepped away from her dreams, yet still carried extraordinary talent. It was a reminder of how life's beauty often hides in unexpected places, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. As the final note faded, the hall remained silent for a few seconds. The music had left an impression that words could not capture. The pianist approached her, not with applause, but with a smile that said, without speaking, that he understood the courage and beauty of what had just happened. She opened her eyes slowly, aware that this simple evening had become something unforgettable. For the first time in years, she felt seen not as a worker who cleaned the floors, but as someone with a gift, someone whose life had a story worth sharing. Her heart raced, filled with both excitement and disbelief. A single playful question had opened a door she had long thought closed. And as she looked at the pianist, she realized that tonight the concert hall was no longer just a workplace, was a place where dreams could awaken, even when they had been asleep for a very long time. The atmosphere in the hall changed subtly after the first few notes echoed through the air. The playful challenge had turned into a quiet, intense moment that everyone felt. The famous pianist stood back slightly, his usual confident demeanor softened by a sense of wonder. He had seen many musicians, but there was something entirely unexpected about the way the cleaning lady approached the piano. There was a mixture of hesitance and boldness in her movements, as though she was reconnecting with a part of herself that had waited patiently for years. Her fingers moved over the keys with care, testing the sounds, listening closely, and then striking each note with intention and emotion. The staff who were tidying the hall slowed their movements, unsure if they should continue their work or simply watch. There was a rare magic in the room, a feeling that this was no ordinary rehearsal. The soft lights above created gentle reflections on the piano's polished surface, casting shadows that danced in rhythm with her music. Even the air seemed charged, filled with an energy that was both calm and electric. The pianist could feel it deeply, a reminder of why music mattered so much to those who devoted their lives to it. He had always admired talent, but this was different. It was talent hidden behind years of silence, now emerging like a delicate bloom. Her first melody was simple, almost tentative, but each note carried a weight of memory and longing. She remembered long nights of practice, the thrill of mastering a difficult piece, the comfort of expressing herself through music. Her life had taken her away from that world, yet the passion had never disappeared. It had been carefully tucked away beneath the responsibilities, the routines, and the endless days of work. Now, as her fingers pressed the keys, she felt the old emotions resurface. Vibrant and alive, the pianist watched in awe. He had always known that music could evoke strong feelings, but seeing it awaken in someone who had been distant from it for so long was extraordinary. The sound was more than skill. It was the essence of a life, a story told without words. He felt a deep respect for her courage, for stepping into a space where most people would hesitate. Her playing was not perfect in the technical sense, but it was honest, raw, and deeply moving. Each note seemed to carry not just sound, but experience, hope, and a quiet strength that could not be ignored. As she continued, she began to gain confidence. Her fingers moved more fluidly, and the music became richer, more expressive. She explored the piano's full range, allowing herself to be guided by intuition and memory. The hall seemed to respond, amplifying the sound in a way that made it resonate through every corner. A pianist stepped a little closer, not to intervene, but to witness. His heart lifted with every chord, realizing that the simplest act, a joke, a casual question, had led to something profoundly beautiful. Memories of her past life in music surfaced more vividly. She remembered her first teacher, a kind person, who had encouraged her to practice every day, and the small victories that had brought immense joy. She thought of the competitions she had entered, the applause that had once made her feel alive, and the dreams she had quietly cherished while working other jobs. Life had been difficult, and opportunities had been limited, but she had never lost the love for music. And now, standing in this grand hall, she felt that love reawaken in a way that was almost overwhelming. The pianist could see her emotions reflected in every movement, in the subtle rise and fall of her shoulders, in the way her eyes closed briefly to focus on sound and memory. This was more than playing. It was storytelling. She told of lost opportunities and lingering hope, of resilience and hidden joy, all without speaking a single word. The music carried a depth that moved everyone in the hall, even those who had not expected to be affected. The staff, who had initially laughed at the playful exchange, were now silent, caught in the unexpected beauty of the moment. She played a piece that seemed improvised at first, but each note and phrase had a sense of deliberate thought. It was as if her life experiences had shaped every sound. The music rose and fell like waves, gentle at times, powerful at others. It was emotional, moving, and captivating. The hall itself seemed to listen, the wooden panels and polished floor capturing the resonance and sending it back in a soft echo that enveloped everyone. Time passed unnoticed. Minutes became hours in her mind, though only moments had actually elapsed. The cleaning lady felt as if she had stepped into a different world, where nothing existed except the piano, the music, and the feelings that had lain dormant for so long. The pianist remained nearby, giving her space but also offering silent encouragement. He understood the importance of allowing someone to rediscover their own voice without interruption or distraction. As the melody grew, so did her confidence. She began to experiment with dynamics, softening some phrases and emphasizing others. Her hands moved with a renewed elegance, and her expression showed a combination of concentration and delight. Each note told a story, reflecting her journey and her emotions. She felt alive in a way she hadn't felt for years. The audience of staff members, who had initially been passive observers, were now captivated. Some held their breath, afraid to disturb the fragile magic that filled the room. Others smiled quietly, witnessing something they would never forget. The pianist's respect for her grew with every passing second. He had met many talented musicians, but the combination of hidden skill, courage, and authenticity was rare. He felt privileged to witness the awakening of a musician's soul, someone who had persevered despite life's obstacles and was now reclaiming her passion in a small, unexpected moment. Her music was not just notes on a page. It was a reflection of her life, her heart, and her dreams. She began to explore pieces she had loved in her youth, familiar tunes that held personal significance. The hall responded with subtle echoes that amplified the emotional resonance of the music. She allowed herself to play freely, guided by memory and instinct, and for the first time in a long time, she felt a sense of freedom and joy. Her shoulders relaxed, her hands moved more confidently, and a smile appeared on her face as she lost herself in the melodies. The pianist noticed small details that made her performance extraordinary. The way she paused between phrases, the gentle pressure of her fingers, the way she let the notes linger each element, showed not just technique, but deep understanding and emotional connection. It was clear that her talent had not faded. It had simply been waiting for the right moment to return. The playful challenge that had begun as a joke had turned into a profound revelation, both for her and for everyone witnessing. As she continued, the music became more complex, intertwining emotions with skill. She allowed herself to take risks, trying chords and sequences she hadn't attempted in years. The hall seemed to embrace her courage, the sound filling every corner and creating an almost tangible atmosphere of awe. The pianist could not help but feel a mixture of admiration and inspiration. He had expected an amusing moment, but instead, he was witnessing a remarkable return to form, a reclamation of a long-lost part of someone's life. The staff members, once busy with their routine work, now watched intently. Some were astonished at her technique, others at the emotion she conveyed. Every note seemed to tell a story, every pause carried meaning, and everyone present felt the depth of the experience. The cleaning lady had become more than an observer in this world. She was a creator, a storyteller, a reminder that passion never truly disappears. As the final phrases approached, she allowed the music to gradually soften, each note lingering in the air a moment longer than usual. The hall seemed to hold its breath, capturing the essence of her performance. When the last note faded, the silence was profound. No one spoke immediately. There was a shared understanding that what had just occurred was rare and precious. The pianist stepped forward, offering a smile of admiration and quiet encouragement. It was a gesture that acknowledged not just her talent, but her courage and dedication. The cleaning lady opened her eyes slowly, taking in the room, the piano, and the people around her. She felt a sense of accomplishment, relief, and joy, all at once. A simple invitation, a playful joke, had led her to rediscover a part of herself she thought was lost forever. In that moment, the concert hall was more than a place for music. It was a space of renewal, hope, and unexpected opportunity. Her journey, her passion, and her story had found a voice again, and the experience left everyone present changed in a way they would carry with them for a long time. The hall was still filled with the lingering resonance of the last note she had played. The echoes hung in the air like soft whispers, and for a moment the world seemed paused. The cleaning lady sat at the piano bench, her hands resting lightly on the keys, feeling the vibrations beneath her fingers. She was breathing steadily, but her heart raced with exhilaration and surprise at what she had just accomplished. Years of pent-up emotions and forgotten melodies had surfaced in a single, unplanned performance. The hall, usually a place of routine rehearsals and preparations, had become a stage for something truly magical. The famous pianist moved closer, his expression filled with admiration. He had witnessed countless musicians, but very few could convey such raw emotion and life experience through their playing. What he had thought would be a playful joke had turned into a moment of revelation. He felt humbled by the talent and the courage of someone who had hidden their gift behind years of ordinary work. The cleaning lady had reminded him of the true essence of music, not just skill, but the ability to communicate feelings and stories through sound. She glanced up at him, her eyes bright with a mixture of surprise, joy, and a touch of disbelief. It was hard to believe that her casual return to the piano had captivated not only him, but everyone in the hall. She had always dreamed of playing again, but the practicalities of life had kept her away. Now, in a moment she had not planned for, she had reclaimed a part of herself she thought was lost. The sense of accomplishment was overwhelming, yet she felt a quiet humility as well, knowing that this was only the beginning of a journey she had long postponed. The staff around them had stopped their tasks, watching silently. The cleaning lady had always been a quiet presence, someone who worked diligently without seeking attention. But now, her quiet strength and hidden talent were impossible to ignore. Even those who had laughed at the pianist's playful challenge moments ago now looked at her with a sense of awe. It was a reminder that people often carry hidden depths, and a simple action or question could reveal extraordinary potential. She shifted slightly on the bench, letting her fingers brush against the keys, feeling the texture and resonance. Memories of her early music lessons flooded back, the gentle guidance of her teacher, the hours spent practicing scales and compositions, the satisfaction of finally mastering a difficult piece. Life had pulled her away from music, but it had never extinguished her love for it. Each note she played now was infused with not only skill, but also the experiences, struggles and triumphs of her life. The pianist encouraged her with a subtle nod, giving her the freedom to explore the piano without interruption. She closed her eyes, allowing the music to flow naturally from her memories and intuition. The sound filled the hall, reaching every corner and creating an atmosphere that was both intimate and grand. It was as if the hall itself had become a participant in the performance, resonating with the emotions and stories embedded in each note. She began to experiment with dynamics, varying the intensity of each phrase. Some passages were soft and delicate, almost like a whisper, while others were bold and commanding, carrying a sense of triumph. Her movements were fluid and confident, reflecting a deep understanding of the instrument and the music. The hall seemed to respond, amplifying the emotional impact of her performance and creating a sense of connection between her, the pianist, and the audience of staff members. As she played, she allowed herself to be guided by both memory and imagination. She revisited pieces she had loved in her youth, adding her own interpretations and flourishes. The music became a dialogue between the past and the present, a conversation between her former self and the person she had become. Each note was deliberate yet spontaneous, a reflection of her life's journey and the emotions she had experienced. Along the way, the pianist listened intently, his admiration growing with every phrase. He had always believed in the transformative power of music, but witnessing it in someone who had been distanced from their passion for so long was profoundly moving. It was a reminder that talent and dedication can endure, even when life forces us to take different paths. The cleaning lady's performance was not just a display of skill. It was a testament to resilience, hope, and the enduring nature of dreams. The staff members, who had initially been engaged in their tasks, were now fully absorbed. Some leaned against walls, their eyes fixed on the piano, while others sat quietly in chairs, captivated by the unfolding performance. There was a shared sense of wonder and respect, a recognition that something extraordinary was happening before their eyes. The cleaning lady had transcended her role, becoming the center of attention not through ambition or desire for recognition, but through the natural expression of her talent and passion. She allowed herself to play more freely, exploring complex passages and experimenting with rhythm and tempo. The hall responded with a natural amplification of sound, creating a rich and immersive experience. Each note seemed to tell a story, conveying emotions that words could not capture. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, realizing that she was reclaiming a part of herself that had been dormant for far too long. The music became a form of release, a way to express feelings that had been quietly stored within her heart. The pianist observed the subtle nuances in her playing the way. She emphasized certain notes, the gentle pauses that added emotional depth, and the confident flow of her hands across the keys. It was clear that she had an innate understanding of musical expression, a gift that had been nurtured in her youth and preserved through years of longing and practice. He felt privileged to witness this moment, recognizing the rarity and beauty of her talent. As she continued, the music grew more intricate and expressive. She allowed herself to experiment with harmony and melody, blending familiar patterns with innovative interpretations. The hall seemed to embrace her creativity, amplifying the emotional resonance and creating an almost tangible atmosphere of awe. The performance was no longer just a casual return to the piano. It had become a transformative experience, both for her and for everyone present. The cleaning lady's confidence grew with each passing moment. Her movements became more assured, and her expression reflected a deep connection to the music. She smiled faintly, feeling a sense of liberation and joy. The audience, though small and unexpected, was fully engaged, their admiration evident in their attentive silence. The pianist recognized the significance of this performance, not as a public spectacle, but as a personal and emotional journey, a reclamation of a long-lost passion. Memories of her past achievements and challenges surfaced as she played. She thought of the times she had performed for friends and family, the encouragement she had received, and the obstacles she had overcome to continue pursuing her passion in any way she could. The music became a reflection of her life, a narrative that conveyed both struggle and triumph. Each note was infused with authenticity, creating a powerful emotional connection with the listeners. The hall seemed to resonate with her energy, the polished surfaces amplifying the richness and warmth of the piano's sound. The cleaning lady allowed herself to be fully present in the moment, letting the music guide her emotions and movements. She explored the full range of the instrument, from the deepest bass notes to the highest treble, creating a dynamic and immersive experience. Her fingers moved with precision and grace, demonstrating not only technical skill, but also a profound understanding of musical expression. The pianist could not help but feel inspired by her performance. He had encountered many talented individuals, but the combination of hidden skill, courage, and authenticity he witnessed in this moment was rare. The cleaning lady had taken a simple invitation and transformed it into an extraordinary display of artistry and emotion. Her music conveyed a story of resilience, hope, and the enduring nature of passion, touching the hearts of everyone present. As the final phrases approached, she allowed the music to soften gradually, creating a gentle and reflective atmosphere. The notes lingered in the air, fading slowly and leaving behind a sense of calm and fulfillment. The hall remained silent for a few moments, as if honoring the beauty and significance of what had just occurred. The pianist approached her once again, offering a smile of genuine admiration and encouragement, acknowledging not only her talent, but also the courage it took to reclaim her gift. The cleaning lady opened her eyes, taking in the hall, the piano, and the people around her. She felt a profound sense of accomplishment and renewal. A simple, playful challenge had led to a moment of transformation, allowing her to reconnect with a part of herself that had been dormant for years. In that moment, the concert hall became more than a place for rehearsals. It was a space where dreams could awaken, where hidden talents could be rediscovered, and where the power of music could inspire and heal. The hall remained quiet for a moment after her last notes faded, but the air was thick with emotion. Every person present could feel the energy of the music lingering, as though it had imprinted itself on the very walls. The cleaning lady's hands rested lightly on the keys, her fingers still tingling with the sensation of sound. She felt a mix of relief, joy, and disbelief. She had not expected to play like that, not in front of anyone. And yet here she was, having transformed an ordinary evening into something extraordinary. The experience was overwhelming, yet deeply fulfilling. The pianist approached her, his eyes filled with admiration and curiosity. He had witnessed many performances, but this was unlike anything he had ever encountered. It was not just the technical skill, but the way she had conveyed emotion, experience, and a lifetime of stories through her playing. He realized that the music had done more than entertain. It had revealed a person's soul, their strength, and their resilience. He felt a deep respect for the cleaning lady, understanding the courage it took to embrace her talent after years of leaving it aside. She looked up at him, eyes bright, and offered a small, humble smile. She could hardly believe what had just happened. All her life, she had worked quietly, doing her tasks without seeking recognition. Music had been a private joy, a passion she had nurtured in the background, often feeling it was something she could no longer pursue. Now, through a playful invitation, she had discovered a part of herself that she thought had been lost forever. The feeling was exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. The staff members, who had been quietly observing, were now fully engaged. Some leaned against walls, some sat in chairs, and all eyes were fixed on her. There was a shared sense of awe and admiration, a recognition of the rarity of what they had witnessed. The cleaning lady had always been a quiet presence, someone whose work was unnoticed, but her talent and courage had transformed the perception of everyone around her. In that moment, she was no longer invisible. She was a storyteller, a musician, and a source of inspiration. She shifted her weight slightly on the bench, feeling the familiar texture of the piano keys beneath her fingers. Memories of her early lessons flooded back the patient guidance. Of her teacher, the hours of practice, the joy of mastering challenging pieces. Life had led her away from music, but the love for it had never faded. Now, reconnecting with the piano, she felt a sense of freedom and release that she had not experienced in years. Each note she played had become a reflection of her journey, a dialogue between the past and the present. The pianist gave her a subtle nod, encouraging her to continue. He understood the importance of letting her explore without interruption. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to be guided by her instincts, memories, and the emotions that had long been dormant. The hall seemed to respond to her, amplifying the richness and warmth of the music. Every corner, every surface seemed to vibrate with the sounds, creating an immersive and intimate atmosphere. She began to experiment with dynamics, gently varying the intensity and tempo of her performance. Some passages were soft, almost whispering, while others were bold and expressive, commanding attention. Her movements became more confident, her expression more serene. She was rediscovering not just her skill, but also the joy and excitement that music had once brought her. The hall had transformed into a sacred space, a place where creativity, emotion, and life intersected. As she played, she let herself revisit old compositions that had been dear to her, weaving them together with improvisations that reflected her present state of mind. The music became a conversation between who she had been and who she had become. Each chord, each phrase was imbued with emotion, telling a story of resilience, hope, and quiet triumph. The audience, though small, was captivated. They could feel the depth of her performance, the honesty, and the beauty in every note. The pianist observed the subtle details in her technique, the careful articulation of each note, the pauses that added emotional weight, and the fluidity of her hands across the keys. It was evident that she possessed not only technical skill, but also a profound understanding of musical expression. Her playing was authentic and moving, a testament to the years she had devoted to music in her youth and the passion she had never lost. The simple, playful challenge had become a showcase of extraordinary talent and emotional depth. She allowed herself to explore more complex passages, experimenting with rhythm and harmony, blending familiar patterns with spontaneous creativity. The hall resonated with the music, amplifying its emotional impact and creating a sense of connection between the performer and the audience. Each note seemed to tell a story, conveying experiences, dreams, and emotions that words could not capture. She felt fully alive, liberated, and inspired by the act of playing once again. The staff members, initially engaged in their work, were now entirely focused on her performance. Their expressions ranged from astonishment to admiration, reflecting the emotional power of what they were witnessing. The cleaning lady had transformed an ordinary evening into an unforgettable experience, revealing the hidden depth and potential that lay within her. Her music was not just technically impressive, but deeply human, resonating with authenticity and emotion. Her confidence continued to grow. Her movements were fluid, her expression relaxed, and her fingers danced across the keys with grace and precision. She smiled faintly, feeling a sense of joy and fulfillment that had been absent for years. The performance had become more than a casual return to music. It was a reclamation of a part of herself that she had long suppressed. The hall had become a sanctuary, a place where her talent could shine and her passion could be fully expressed. Memories of past performances and achievements surfaced, blending with her present experience. She recalled the times she had played for friends and family, the encouragement she had received, and the challenges she had overcome. The music she played now was a reflection of all those experiences, conveying emotion and story without a single word. Each note was a testament to her resilience, her perseverance, and her enduring love for music. The hall seemed to embrace her energy, enhancing the emotional resonance of each phrase. She allowed herself to be fully present, guided by instinct and intuition, exploring the piano's full range. From the deepest bass to the highest treble, she created a rich and immersive soundscape. Her fingers moved with skill and sensitivity, balancing technical ability with expressive interpretation. The music conveyed authenticity, depth, and life. Experience, leaving a lasting impression on everyone who heard it. The pianist felt inspired and moved by her performance. He had witnessed many talented individuals, but the combination of hidden skill, courage, and authenticity he observed in this moment was extraordinary. The cleaning lady had taken a casual invitation and turned it into a transformative display of artistry and emotion. Her music told a story of hope, resilience, and the enduring nature of passion, touching the hearts of all who were present. As the performance neared its conclusion, she allowed the music to soften and become reflective. The notes lingered in the air, fading gradually and leaving a sense of calm and fulfillment. The hall remained silent, honoring the beauty and significance of the moment. The pianist approached her with a gentle smile, offering silent admiration and encouragement. He acknowledged her talent and the bravery it took to reclaim her gift after so many years. The cleaning lady opened her eyes, taking in the hall, the piano, and the people around her. She felt a profound sense of accomplishment and renewal. A playful challenge had led her to rediscover a lost part of herself, reconnecting with her passion and creativity. In that moment, the concert hall became more than a rehearsal space. It was a place of rebirth, where dreams could be awakened, hidden talents could flourish, and the power of music could inspire, heal, and transform. The cleaning lady sat quietly, for a moment, her hands still resting on the piano keys. The silence in the hall was different now. It was not empty, but full of the echoes of the music she had just played. Each person present felt the lingering emotion, a sense of awe and respect that made the room feel sacred. She had not expected to experience such a powerful connection to her music, nor had she expected others to witness it. Yet here she was, feeling seen in a way that she had not for many years. The famous pianist approached her, his expression a mixture of admiration and curiosity. "Where did you learn to play like that?" he asked gently, not to intrude but to understand. His voice carried no judgment, only genuine interest. The question made her pause. She had not played publicly in years, and most people had never known about her musical background. For a moment, she felt a wave of vulnerability, unsure if she should speak. But then, slowly, she began to share her story. She spoke softly, almost as if confessing a secret. She told him about her youth, how she had studied music with passion and dedication. She recalled the joy of playing, the excitement of learning new pieces, and the comfort music had provided during difficult times. But life had taken her in a different direction. Responsibilities, financial pressures, and unforeseen circumstances had forced her to set aside her dreams and focus on survival. Music had remained in her heart, but it had become a quiet companion rather than an active pursuit. The pianist listened attentively, his respect for her growing with every word. He understood that talent alone was not enough. It was the perseverance, dedication, and love for music that truly defined a musician. The cleaning lady had maintained her connection to music despite life's challenges, and now, in a single moment, that connection had been rekindled. He felt honored to witness not just her skill, but the story and life experience behind it. The staff members, who had been watching quietly, also listened as she shared her history. They were surprised and moved by the depth of her journey. What they had initially perceived as a casual, playful moment had revealed a profound narrative of resilience and hidden talent. The cleaning lady's humility and honesty added to the impact, making her story even more inspiring. She had lived a life full of challenges, yet her passion had endured, waiting for the right moment to emerge. As she spoke, memories of her early music experiences returned vividly. She remembered the teacher who had first recognized her talent, the small victories of mastering difficult compositions, and the encouragement of friends and family who had believed in her. She remembered performing in small gatherings, the applause and smiles that had once made her heart soar. Those memories had faded over time, overshadowed by the practical demands of daily life, but they now resurfaced with a clarity and intensity that brought tears to her eyes. The pianist encouraged her gently, asking about the pieces she had loved and the moments that had shaped her musical journey. She spoke of the joy of improvisation, the satisfaction of learning complex techniques, and the emotional connection she felt with each piece. Her story was not just about talent, but about the enduring power of passion and the importance of never fully letting go of one's dreams. Even when life took unexpected turns, she had held onto music in her heart, and that love had guided her back to the piano. The hall seemed to embrace her story, as if the very space understood the significance of what had transpired. The polished floors, high ceilings, and grand piano reflected not just sound but emotion, amplifying the impact of her words and music. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of reverence, a recognition that something extraordinary had occurred. The cleaning lady had transformed an ordinary evening into a moment that would be remembered by all who were present. She spoke of the years she had spent away from the piano, working diligently in the hall and performing her duties without complaint. Music had remained a quiet presence in her life, a source of solace and comfort. She had occasionally hummed melodies to herself, recalled pieces she had played, and imagined playing again. But circumstances had always prevented her from fully returning to her passion. The playful invitation from the pianist had provided the catalyst she needed to reconnect with that part of herself. The pianist nodded, clearly moved by her words. He recognized the courage it had taken for her to embrace her talent after such a long absence. Many people never returned to their passions once life pulled them away, but she had stepped forward, reclaimed her voice, and shared it with authenticity and grace. He felt a sense of responsibility to support her in any way he could, understanding that this moment was not just about music, but about opportunity and transformation. The cleaning lady reflected on how life had unfolded for her, the choices she had made, and the sacrifices required to care for her family and sustain herself. She realized that despite the challenges, she had never lost her love for music, and that love had now resurfaced in a powerful and meaningful way. The experience reinforced her belief that passion could endure, even when hidden, and that it could resurface at the right moment to create profound change. She spoke of her dreams, both fulfilled and deferred. She expressed a quiet hope that she might once again have the opportunity to play, to share her music, and to inspire others as she had been inspired in her youth. Her words were filled with sincerity and humility, reflecting a person who had faced life's difficulties with grace and resilience. The pianist, moved by her honesty, offered his encouragement and support, suggesting that she could play during his rehearsals and that he would speak to management about opportunities for her to perform. The staff members exchanged glances, recognizing the significance of what they were witnessing. The cleaning lady's story and talent had transformed their perception, revealing the depth and complexity of a person they had previously overlooked. Her humility, perseverance, and skill created a powerful example of the potential that exists within ordinary people, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The atmosphere in the hall was one of admiration, respect, and inspiration. As she continued to share her story, she reflected on the emotions that music had allowed her to express. Each piece she had played over the years had carried a personal significance, representing feelings, experiences, and memories. Music had been a constant companion, offering comfort and expression when words were insufficient. The opportunity to play again had rekindled that connection, allowing her to communicate her emotions and experiences in a deeply meaningful way. The pianist listened intently, occasionally asking questions to understand her journey more fully. He was fascinated by her perspective, the depth of her knowledge, and the resilience she had demonstrated. Her story was a reminder that talent alone is not enough. It is the dedication, love, and perseverance that truly define a person's contribution. She had maintained her passion despite life's obstacles, and her courage in embracing it once more was inspiring to everyone present. The cleaning lady felt a sense of gratitude as she spoke. She was grateful for the opportunity to reconnect with music, for the encouragement of the pianist, and for the recognition of her talent by those who had previously seen her only in the context of her work. The experience reinforced her belief in the power of opportunity and the importance of seizing moments that allow personal growth and expression. She realized that her journey was far from over, and that she could continue to explore and share her music in ways she had never imagined. The hall, once a place of routine and familiarity, had become a space of transformation. The polished floors, grand piano, and high ceilings seemed to hold the energy of the moment, amplifying the significance of her story and performance. The cleaning lady's journey, from quiet dedication to rediscovery of her passion, had created a powerful narrative that resonated with everyone present. The pianist recognized the importance of supporting her in this new chapter, offering guidance, encouragement, and opportunities to continue her musical journey. As she finished recounting her story, the cleaning lady felt a profound sense of accomplishment and hope. She had shared her experiences, reclaimed her talent, and inspired those around her. The opportunity to play had awakened a part of her that had long been dormant, and she now felt empowered to continue pursuing her passion. The pianist's support and the admiration of the staff reinforced her belief that music could be a source of joy, connection, and transformation, regardless of the obstacles faced along the way. The atmosphere in the hall was alive with a sense of possibility. The cleaning lady had shared her story, played with heart, and touched everyone present. Now the pianist approached her with a gentle smile, as if acknowledging that this was not the end of a moment, but the beginning of something greater. His eyes conveyed both admiration and encouragement, a silent message that her talent was recognized and that she deserved the opportunity to share it with more people. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The thought of playing in front of a wider audience had always been intimidating, and years of focusing on her daily work had made her hesitant to step into the spotlight. But something had shifted inside her. The support she had received, the rediscovery of her music, and the experience of sharing it, even in this small setting, had awakened a courage she had not known she still possessed. She took a deep breath and nodded, understanding that this was her moment to embrace a new chapter. The pianist suggested that she join him for rehearsals, not just as a guest, but as a participant. He wanted her to feel the joy of collaboration, the thrill of music being played together, and the satisfaction of contributing to something larger than herself. The cleaning lady's eyes widened with surprise and gratitude. This was an opportunity she had never imagined she would receive, and it filled her with a sense of hope and possibility. The hall, once a place of routine and work, had become a gateway to dreams long deferred. She agreed, her heart racing with anticipation. The pianist guided her to a seat beside him at the grand piano, explaining that they would begin with simple duets, gradually building to more complex pieces. He spoke in a calm, encouraging tone, reminding her that mistakes were part of the learning process, and that the music itself was the most important thing. She listened carefully, absorbing every word, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and determination. As they began to play together, the cleaning lady discovered the joy of harmony, of two people creating music that was richer and fuller than she could produce alone. The pianist adjusted his playing to complement hers, providing gentle guidance while allowing her creativity to shine. The notes intertwined, creating a tapestry of sound that was both beautiful and inspiring. She felt a sense of connection, not just to the music, but to the pianist and the environment around her. The staff who had been quietly observing now watched with admiration. They saw the transformation in her, from a quiet, diligent worker to a confident, expressive musician. The energy in the hall was palpable, a combination of awe, inspiration, and joy. Her story, her courage, and her talent had become a source of motivation, reminding everyone present that passion and determination could lead to unexpected and beautiful outcomes. Each rehearsal brought new challenges and opportunities for growth. The cleaning lady experimented with rhythm, tempo, and dynamics, discovering that she could express emotions in ways she had not explored before. The pianist offered gentle corrections and suggestions, helping her refine her technique while encouraging her unique style. Together, they explored compositions that ranged from classical masterpieces to modern arrangements, each piece revealing more of her talent and creativity. The cleaning lady's confidence grew with every session. She began to feel comfortable, not only playing alongside the pianist, but also taking the lead, suggesting variations and improvisations. The hall became a place of learning and expression, a sanctuary where her passion could flourish without fear or hesitation. She felt a renewed sense of identity, realizing that music was not just a part of her past, but a vital element of her present and future. Word of her talent began to spread quietly among the staff and musicians who frequented the hall. Some were amazed that someone who had worked behind the scenes possessed such extraordinary skill. Others were inspired by her courage and dedication, recognizing the power of perseverance and the potential that exists within ordinary individuals. The cleaning lady's story became a symbol of hope, illustrating that it is never too late to reclaim one's passions and pursue dreams with determination. With the pianist's encouragement, she began to participate in small performances within the hall, initially for staff members and later for small audiences. Each performance was met with admiration and appreciation, reinforcing her confidence and sense of purpose. She discovered that sharing her music brought immense joy, not just to herself, but to those who listened. The hall, once a backdrop for routine work, had become a stage for her personal transformation and artistic expression. Through this journey, the cleaning lady also learned valuable lessons about resilience, patience, and the importance of self-belief. She reflected on her life, recognizing that the obstacles she had faced had shaped her character and strengthened her determination. Music had been a constant thread, providing comfort and guidance, and now it had become a vehicle for growth and self-discovery. The experience reinforced her understanding that talent alone is not enough. It must be nurtured, embraced, and shared to fully flourish. The pianist continued to mentor her, offering insights into musical interpretation, performance techniques, and emotional expression. He encouraged her to explore different genres and styles, to challenge herself and to take risks in her playing. The cleaning lady embraced these opportunities, eager to expand her skills and explore the full range of her abilities. Each rehearsal and performance deepened her connection to music and strengthened her confidence. As time passed, the cleaning lady's reputation as a talented and inspiring musician grew. She was invited to participate in larger performances, collaborate with other musicians, and even teach aspiring students who were eager to learn from her experience. Her journey from a quiet, unrecognized worker to a respected musician became a source of inspiration, demonstrating the transformative power of passion, perseverance, and opportunity. Through it all, she remained humble and grounded, remembering the years when music had been a private joy and a source of solace. She valued every moment of her renewed journey, understanding that her talent was a gift to be shared, not merely a personal achievement. The support of the pianist, the admiration of the staff, and the joy of performing reinforced her belief in the importance of pursuing one's passions, regardless of age or circumstance. The cleaning lady continued to grow as a musician, exploring new compositions, refining her technique, and sharing her music with wider audiences. Her story became a testament to the enduring nature of passion and the importance of embracing opportunities when they arise. She discovered that music had the power to heal, inspire, and transform, not only in her own life, but in the lives of those who listened. In the end, the hall that had once been a place of routine work had become a space of transformation, creativity, and hope. The cleaning lady's journey illustrated that talent, courage, and perseverance can lead to extraordinary outcomes, even in unexpected circumstances. Her music touched hearts, inspired change, and reminded everyone present of the power of dreams and the importance of never giving up on what one loves. The experience became a defining chapter in her life, a story of resilience, rediscovery, and the profound impact of embracing one's true potential.